What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV and the first episode in my E3 2018 press conference coverage mini-series. Over the course of the weekend and next week, I'll be taking the time for you guys to break down each of the major press conferences coming out of E3 2018. That is Electronic Entertainment Expo, for those of you not in the know, the biggest annual video game reveal event in video games. We're going to be covering the press conferences of the Big Five: EA, Ubisoft, Sony, Bethesda, and Microsoft. Because I won't have gameplay, I won't be posting anything Nintendo based. I'm not a big Nintendo gamer. I've kind of grown out of it, I guess you could say. Not necessarily grown out of it, I know that's going to offend people. I just haven't had a Nintendo console in a long time. So I will be covering all of those other major press conferences, so make sure you're staying tuned to BlackTideTV by hitting that subscribe button. But before we begin the EA Play event, I'd like to give a super power shout out to Dead Boom Gaming. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have known this guy followed me on Twitch, and that was an awesome thing to do while I wasn't even streaming. So big shout out to him, and without further ado, let's get into EA's press conference. I was surprised to hear the massive backlash and utter disappointment in the EA Play press conference this year. I found it to be totally average across the board. There weren't as many major reveals, and most of their content was focused on indie games, and their two big hitters, one coming out next February and one coming out later this year. But otherwise, I found it to be a pretty informative press conference. I got lots of information that we'll be talking about Anthem, and the rest of the games were just kind of meh. They're not really applying to me. They're not games that I'm excited for, but I can imagine that some people might be excited for these games, and I'm not entirely certain why that EA is getting so much hate right now. Even on my own Twitter page, I've posted a poll. I've asked you guys, and I will be posting this for each of the press conferences, what you thought about them. Really good, good, bad, really bad, and a majority of people so far have said the EA one is really bad. I didn't find it that bad, so I'm kind of already confused, but we're going to get into this thing. I've got two major topics. We're going to start with Battlefield 5, and then we're going to hit Anthem at the end. The gameplay today is, of course, Burnout Paradise Remastered, developed by Criterion Games under the EA umbrella. Unfortunately, Criterion and a number of other promising developers under the EA umbrella did not appear at EA Play 2018, though we will have time to briefly sprinkle in some sports and indie game coverage just after our first topic. Battlefield 5, those devs came out and wasted no time whatsoever in reiterating that Battlefield 5 multiplayer is not a historically accurate game by saying this is our portrayal of the Second World War. Just really wanted to hammer home that thought. Most of the Battlefield 5 information was repetitive. We've seen it before, we already know, but they did 100% want to guarantee this is our, or in this case their, portrayal of the Second World War and is not historically accurate. So just driving the nail into the coffin a little bit further, they've also 100% confirmed no loot boxes and no premium pass. No premium pass was already guaranteed from the reveal of Battlefield 5. However, they were here and there on the loot box situation they did guarantee no loot box progression, as in Battlefront 2, but they didn't say anything in particular about no loot boxes altogether. Whereas here, they 100% say no loot boxes, no premium pass. The last thing that came out of Battlefield 5 from the EA Play press conference was Royale. Take a shot every time you hear the words Battle Royale at this E3. I swear to God, you will never have a greater buzz in your life. The first one, Battlefield. Of course, Call of Duty is getting their own version of Battle Royale, and now Battlefield 5 will have Battle Royale. It won't be at launch. They've already confirmed that it's not going to be at launch. It's going to be a post-launch add-on as part of their seasonal update kind of thing that they're doing with Battlefield 5. However, they are saying that is reimagined for Battlefield. Of course, this new, very fancy, very special Battle Royale mode will focus in on the squad gameplay dynamics and the vehicle choices that Battlefield can only offer you. So they are trying to play it up as if this new Battle Royale from Battlefield is going to be the next best thing, and it's going to be better than every other Battle Royale, but we'll have to wait and see. In terms of EA Sports, and to no one's surprise, FIFA, NBA Live, and Madden NFL will all be returning with a 2019 release because, of course, as long as there are sports, there will be an annual release cycle for sports video games that will make gobs and gobs and gobs of money. I can't relate. I can't claim to be a sports fan, regardless of if we are talking video game sports or in real life sports. Not a sports fan, so I can't relate when the entire room lost their mind at the idea of Madden NFL 19 returning to PC for the first time in over a decade. So if you're a big sports fan, if you play Madden NFL and you're playing on PC, you can do that with Madden NFL 19. But apart from that, there wasn't a whole lot of information on the new sports games. Usually EA is the worst conference for me because I tune out about half of it while they're talking about sports. But that wasn't the big major topic this year at EA Play. Something of a thought topic to split up the monotony, about halfway through the press conference, EA decided to focus on a service rather than a game itself, and that service is Origin Access Premier. EA is at the forefront of the future of gaming. They're thinking about how they'll monetize the next big thing, which is of course streaming and subscription services. The Origin Access Premier service will launch this summer, and PC players will have access to the entire EA Games library for a set monthly subscription price. I'd love to see what that price is, but it hasn't yet been announced, and they're also thinking about how games will move to a streaming platform in the future, which we've seen a lot of hot news on recently. A lot of different developers have been bringing this thought up that this next console generation will be the final console generation and will simply move into a new world of streaming video games like on Netflix with TV shows. So kind of interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on streaming and subscription services in gaming, games as a service, in the comment section down below. The next game that they very briefly teased at was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's the title of the in-works Respawn Entertainment Star Wars game, an open world Star Wars game where you'll be playing as a Jedi, and it's set between the episodes of 3 and 4. So right after Order 66, where the Jedi are on the run, it's a very dark time for the Jedi in this video game, but that's all the information we have outside of a release date of holiday 2019. So we will have more information on that as of E3 next year. Star Wars Battlefront 2 also made a brief appearance where they more or less just apologized for how much of a trash fire that game was, and they've also announced that the Clone Wars will be an upcoming expansion, and you'll be able to play as Obi-Wan Kenobi, General Grievous, and some other famous characters from the Clone Wars saga. For more information on indie and mobile titles Unravel 2, Sea of Solitude, and Command & Conquer Rivals, I've linked the entire press conference in the description down below. I think it's fantastic that EA is trying to put the spotlight on their indie developers with the EA Originals program, but E3 is first and foremost a development competition. You should come out with your heavy hitters, and these indie mobile titles, they don't float the general population's boat. I don't have time to talk about them in this video, because we're moving on to much bigger and better things, Anthem. One of the show-stopping titles of E3 2017, we were given a very brief taste of what BioWare, developer of Mass Effect and Dragon Age franchises, was prepared to offer with their new IP, and here at E3 2018 we were given much more information, and I am extremely excited for this game. With the reveal at E3 2017, Anthem promised to be the next evolution in massive multiplayer exploration titles such as Destiny. However, after taking the stage, BioWare managed to address almost all of my questions and concerns about this upcoming title. From the ground up, Anthem was not designed to be an MMO, nor is it a multiplayer experience with a tacked-on story. Those were jabs at Destiny right there. The game is 100% approachable in a solo setting, though it will be much more difficult than how the game is designed to be played in a 4-player co-op team experience. That multiplayer-focused mentality does not strip away from the story, however, as they have completely segregated the story from the multiplayer exploration elements of Anthem. When you return to a base to sell items, pick up missions, interact with NPCs, you do so in a solo setting. However, when you go back out into the world to explore and complete your missions, you'll be able to match up with other players in a co-op team experience to get your missions done and to do things out in the wild. And that wild is going to be wild. There is a living shared world game space, so all players, regardless of where you are, when you are, where you are in the game, you will all experience the same weather at the same time of day. They've also mentioned that there will be seasons because there is such a massive living world here. Anthem is an experience that is meant to feel alive and happening right now. A dynamic and living environment will change every single time you play. You'll never experience the game the same way multiple times. And the devs can drop in real-time dramatic world-altering events like storms and crazy public events that will change the name of the game forever on a whim. This is crazy. I love the idea of this massive open world that they can adjust and we're all experiencing as a community together. Some plot details. The gods have unfinished this planet but have left behind massive tools that are in conflict with the Anthem of creation, which is some mythical force. The world is constantly reshaped in new and unpredictable ways as a result of this conflict between the tools of the gods and the Anthem of creation. So the world will suddenly erupt in violent storms. There are mutant creatures and giant monsters. We play as a freelance exopilot fighting the Dominion, our ancient rival, from weaponizing the Anthem of creation. And the game is designed to, quote, add story for years to come, which is a small red flag that screams DLC. And speaking of DLC, microtransactions have been confirmed for Anthem multiplayer. However, those microtransactions are off to an amazing start. 100% player-controlled cosmetic-only microtransactions. No loot boxes, confirmed. No purchasable gameplay advantage, confirmed. We are talking cosmetic-only items and you get to choose what you want to buy, similar to a Fortnite system where an item becomes available for sale and you pick and choose what you want and pay a set price. There are 4 exosuit classes: Ranger, Colossus, Interceptor, and Storm. You can choose between each suit at will, depending on which mission you are doing, what your friends are using, and you can customize each of your 4 suits to your playstyle and to your personal satisfaction. That is to say, unlockable in-game items like weapons and suit upgrades, as well as exosuit personalization, a la paint jobs, and geometric variants. Anthem is set to release February 22nd, 2019, and I'm 100% there for this game. The theme, the gameplay that we've seen, the information we've been given, what this game promises to be as the next step in a multiplayer shooter, a shared co-op experience. This game, in my honest opinion, has the potential for Game of the Year 2019. If BioWare does the title justice, if they hit the nail on the head, they could blow everyone else out of the water and we could have a phenomenon in the vein of Year 1 Destiny on our hands. This could be the next evolution of the hype that went into Destiny Year 1. So I know I'll be keeping a close eye on Anthem going forward, but will it have the star power to beat out the other main titles coming from Bethesda, Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft this year at E3? Well, we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you thought of EA Play 2018, that is EA's press conference from E3 2018, in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Anthem? What do you think about the subscription streaming service EA is pushing towards, and Battlefield 5 or Call of Duty Black Ops 4? Hit the like button, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next video.